Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, knock, knock, knock. Let's see. What do these tea leaves have to say tonight? All right. Well, I hope you all are doing well. It is Sunday night when I am recording this after a long weekend of lots and lots going on. These summer months get so busy, don't they? And maybe you're in the southern hemisphere. It might hopefully be winding down for you a little bit. Okay. All right. I'm going to look at the card first. We have, I know, the Nine of Swords. We have the card that is related to cruelty. As you can see, there is a lot of gore happening here. These bloody swords kind of dripping. And yeah, it just overall doesn't look like a very happy card. Now, more than anything, I would say that I relate this card to the kind of traditional, the traditional relation of having kind of a lot of worry, negative thoughts, kind of lamenting, maybe in a place of anxiety, a little bit of melancholy, just really having trouble getting over old things, kind of, over intellectualizing things, overthinking, to the point where it just starts to crumble away in your mind. So, although this seems pretty terrible, and of course when we get into these cycles of getting stuck in a thinking loop or having kind of maybe invasive thoughts or just really unable to shake the kind of negative things that we're thinking, that can feel like the world is kind of ending. It is often quite related to our perceptions, and a lot of what we talk about here is kind of learning to master our perceptions, right? Using different kinds of techniques, different kind of things to do, inner work, magical work, just even contemplation. Although in this certain context, maybe contemplation is not the right thing. Maybe you are already contemplating too much. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what's going on in here. Maybe we can figure out how to get out of this, or maybe have some clarity about what is happening. Okay, so immediately I see a bird. It looks like a hummingbird. It also looks like a 3. Okay, so I think the number 3 is going to be important coming up here. I also think that with this bird kind of perched, we have kind of almost feeling like you've gone from this busy, energetic state to kind of needing a break, or really just having the inability to continue forward right now. Kind of just, I almost imagine hiding away from, you know, the world, your responsibilities a little bit, maybe not completely, but, you know, kind of really limiting your anybody else's access to you, and maybe even your access to the world. I know for me, when I get into a place where I am having too much anxiety, that is when I go on like social media detoxes. I stop answering my text messages. I kind of just, you know, stick to the things I must do, you know, with work and household and family, you know, direct family things. But everything else is put on the back burner because it just causes more anxiety. And I also am an overthinker. I feel like this card was made for me because I think about every little detail of you know, every interaction I have, what people are doing around me, what is going on, all of the things that are out of my control that I can even think of in the day, and, you know, where I'm lacking in the things that I can control. So I am constantly working to kind of realign myself so I'm not stuck in that all the time. Because it really can be kind of destabilizing for sure. So, you know, I feel that you are kind of instinctually coming to a place of pause, which is okay. I think that you are, you know, your mind, body is really just kind of taking over in some ways, like telling you that you have to like kind of figure out what are you going to do to kind of limit the stimuli that is causing this anxiety, or at least what has triggered it, and how are you going to kind of detach a little bit so that you can get down to a place of being, you know, more comfortable, feeling more balanced and grounded and all this kind of thing. I don't want to kind of pick at the subject of what is it that you're worried about. I mean, I feel that something has arisen that you just are very worried about. Something, it's bothering you. I think that it is something that has kind of come up out of nowhere. And I feel that because I'm seeing these kind of figures, these ones look more human, but then we have some that looks like a horse kind of in this, you know, almost like a jumping or rearing back. And then we have another horse over here who also looks like it's kind of in movement. And I wonder, if this is not kind of there's not a social aspect to this. I mean, it feels like this is a people thing. I don't feel like this is financial or health related, but I think that this is definitely has to do with people in your life. Okay, and I feel like this has been kind of a blow to you, but you know, and I don't want to pile on, of course, but I almost wonder, I get the feeling that in the past here, things are kind of going smoothly. You know, there was kind of, and I'm thinking of these horses kind of, you know, in a constant and consistent stride forward. And there was a moment where something happened, some kind of exchange where maybe you were a little less kind than you ought to have been. But I feel like it's you that thinks this. I think that in your mind you're thinking over, okay, something happened. Maybe I said something that was not very thoughtful. It wasn't, nice. Maybe I was short or plain rude. And I feel that this has kind of disrupted the flow of a friendship or some kind of family relationship. At least the way that you're perceiving it to be, okay? And I feel like it's kind of, you have this thought in your head that it's like, this is coming back to haunt me. I said this thing, it wasn't, I don't think it was aggressive or, mean for the sake of being mean. But, we all have our moments where we're a little short, maybe a little flippant, whatever it is. But then I think that whatever happened with this relationship, it kind of has just there's not been a lot of communication. And I think that you are believing that this has to do with your behavior. And I just kind of see this, it feels very chaotic in this grouping of these two people, but also just all of this energy kind of flying around here. And I feel with this horse, it feels kind of like a moment of just really pulling back and rearing up, feeling almost, just like just a reaction that maybe was a little too much in for the context, for the situation. But I also think that a lot of it maybe is you reading into things differently than maybe this other person is. And so I want to look at this interesting large, it looks like a person, okay, with the face, and you can see the little face there. It looks like they're holding something like a paper, and it's kind of crunched up in their fist. And I wonder, I think in my mind as I'm looking through these, it almost feels like kind of that there was maybe an event happening, okay? And I feel that you are upset because maybe you have not received an invitation, or something about the invitation you did receive felt like it was a slight against you, okay? But I feel that you think you're being left out. Okay, so for example, this could be like there's a wedding happening. Maybe the person that you had this little tiff with is getting married. You would have expected to be in a more prominent role within their wedding, but you kind of just are getting invited. And that feels hurtful to you, okay? But honestly, and paired with this card, I really do feel that this is kind of more of a communication breakdown, more than anything else. I think that you have kind of applied different meanings to what's going on than this other person. I don't believe that they are leaving you out on purpose. And if they are, I don't think it's for the same reasons that you believe. I feel that ultimately you have to stop kind of ruminating on this with so little information about what's going on. I also think that maybe this person or these people have a lot happening with whatever's they have going on in their lives. I don't think that this is necessarily anything to do with what you have or haven't done. It seems to me that they might be going through some kind of rite of passage. This could be like a new child, you know, moving, one of their, and this is because of the time of year right now, one of their kids is graduating school, college, whatever it is. I think that they have a lot going on, okay? I think that it's important for you to kind of clear the air with them at some point, and respectfully, right? I think that you need to come in there even, like, even toned, very kind of, you know, open and somewhat vulnerable about how you feel, okay? And just to try to meet them on an equal plane, kind of, you know? And this is where we kind of, it's important to try to think about, and if you've never heard of this, maybe look it up, using these kind of the I languages, like, or language that is from kind of a therapeutic kind of communication style. So instead of saying, you make me feel this way, whatever, you make me feel like I'm being left out. You come to somebody and you say something like, I noticed that I was not invited to this. I feel like maybe this was overlooked, or I feel like maybe, you know, this really kind of makes me feel alienated. It's more disarming, I think, to be vulnerable in that way, where we talk about what we can control, our feelings, our experience. And not placing blame on somebody without hearing them out. Now, if they have been just outwardly rude to you and made it very apparent, you know, that they have some kind of beef with you or whatever, then, you know, I think abort mission, get out of there, don't engage this, okay? But I feel like a lot of this in this situation, because we have the Nine of Swords, this is a situation of thinking things are differently than they are, okay? Which I am amazing at doing. A lot of times I'm right about things, but there are times that I have whole scenarios in my head of why people are doing things, why they said this, why in this tone, you know, whatever. I'm like so hypersensitive about that kind of thing. So I have to, you know, really kind of like pump my brakes a little bit. Not because I'm not super confrontational, but like I'll cry. I'll just cry. Like I'm so sensitive about stuff. I hurt my own feelings. That's really what it comes down to. And I feel like this is kind of maybe a little bit of that. I feel like this is perceived cruelty happening, but I think a lot of it just really has to do with the fact that these people are busy. They got a lot of things going on, and not that you're not important, but you know how it is to have a lot of what is that, spinning plates? Like where they're on their fingers and stuff. I don't even, I don't know what the saying is, but yes, juggling a lot of things, right? So I want to look and see what else do we have here before this thing gets too dry. Oh, okay. So I was seeing this. It looks like we have a backwards F right here. What does that mean? An F backwards. It kind of almost looks like a 7 with the little, that line. I forget what that's for, like shorthand, or I can't remember. Maybe it's in accounting. I don't know. I learned how to make a 7 like that, where it's the regular and then a line crossed through the middle. And I don't know what that's for or where that comes from, but I do still do that. But I think what comes to mind here, a backwards F. So maybe this person has a name that starts with F. And I feel like whoever it is that has an F name in your life, if you can think of them, or maybe a descriptive word about them, maybe their career path is in an F field. Something is backwards with your relationship right now. This is in that emotional place. I feel like it's just kind of flipped from where it used to be, and that's kind of painful. But again, I think this is all about the communication, trying to approach this in a way that is somewhat vulnerable, unless they are, you know, cruel or you know, abusive in some way. That's not, you know, I would say don't engage in that. But if this is somebody that usually you have a pretty reasonable relationship, interactions with, they are respectful and kind, and you can do the same for them, with them, then I think just really talking about it, right? No, don't text though. Text is terrible for figuring things out. And I read so often people talking about how much they hate phone calls. Like, look, I don't like being on the phone either, but if I have to figure out like how you're feeling and what you're saying, how you're trying to say it. I do this with my husband all the time. He probably goes nuts, honestly, with how often I call him. But because, you know, often like I'll write like 50 paragraphs about something and then I get like a few words. I have to call to figure out like, why are you being short with me? And it's usually, yeah, you're busy, right? But so I think it's important to, you know, at least be able to hear the person. If possible, do it in person, you know, face to face. That's so much more, you get the whole picture, right? So let's see. Also, we have this little boot here, okay? And this is kind of a fancy looking boot. It has a little heel on it. I feel like you have something coming up. Maybe this has nothing to do with this other event, but there's something coming up that's going to be fun for you. I almost get like the thought of like going dancing, or I don't know, horseback riding, something with a long fancy boot. And I'm trying to think, like, what do you do with a boot that has a heel? I for some reason got that song. What is not the Patty or Nancy Sinatra song, but like Shania Twain, I think, from like the late 90s. I just imagine like a bunch of people from the 90s in boots kind of dancing, having fun, right? Having like a kind of Western style, what is that called? Not square dancing. Maybe it's called square dancing. I don't know. Line dancing. Yes, line dancing. See, you know how much I go out. Very never. I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. But that's kind of what the vibe is, right? I think you're going to go out and do something fun. And maybe it will help kind of get your mind off of this thing that's happening. And hopefully, can you please, my love, come over here. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Purring right in my ear, miss. All right. Okay, so I feel like we have some... This cat, I'm sorry, she's sitting here purring in my ear. We have two distinct paths to go. I feel like one is going to be longer, but more stable. I feel like this is more the path of that communication, working things out, taking your time with it, not getting, you know, not rage texting or being sarcastic or, you know, whatever your style of like low conflict is. But I think that if you are going slow, communicating, kind of really being thoughtful about how you're going to interact and, you know, kind of how you're going to phrase things and, you know, keep yourself a little under control emotionally, tempered. It might be a longer path, but I think that the results will be better. As we can see, they're small and getting bigger and bigger. And I think the growing, kind of really growing. On the other hand, there's this kind of bunch over here, and then it's more spacey, you know, and they get smaller and smaller. And I feel like that is so much the path of just getting upset, sending like some kind of upsetting email or text or voicemail or something, accusing, you know, whatever. And I think that it will shut this person down. I think that's the big thing. So, you know, I think that kind of outcome is not going to benefit you if, you know, if you want to retain this friendship and, you know, get it fixed. Okay, thank you. You're very sweet. Just trying to clean my hair. Okay, so I want to thank you. I am always so honored. Okay, come on. You got to get down now. I have to say goodbye to these people. Thank you. Okay, I want to thank you. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. I appreciate the time that you spend with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm, and we are growing this channel one person at a time. We're doing so well, you guys. We're really doing good. I feel like the community is growing. There are so many lovely people here. I love hearing your stories, your insights, and you know, just your offerings of love to the channel and to each other. A lot of support between commenters, which is awesome. So if you want to leave a comment, please do that too. And if you have not subscribed, think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It will let you know when the next videos come out. Yeah, and I don't know what else. We have a membership tier that got added. It's just kind of a support membership, and that's very appreciated. Big shout out to our members that we have now, and yeah, I think that's it. All right. Well, I thank you. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Hopefully we'll get some resolution. If you yourself have resolution to the situation, you know, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know. All right. I thank you. Have a wonderful week.